stop looking with your physical eyes only and start feeling your way towards what you want. So one of the things that has been very top of mind for me is this subject, this idea of authenticity and leading from the heart versus the mind. Now, we probably, if you have been into any of the personal development work, the spiritual growth work, you have learned that the mind does not always help you out, right? The mind oftentimes can lead us in a loop. The mind can hold us back. The mind can initiate fear for things that are not actually there. And how leading from the heart consciousness, from the place of that centered groundedness, which is the truth of who you are, is always going to lead you in the right direction. But it's not always the easiest thing. It's not always the easiest thing to trust where your feelings are leading you versus where your mind is leading you. So one of my favorite phrases, and it's one of those things that I had it on my wall for years, and it kind of pops in and goes out all the time. But when I'm reminded of it, it gives me that big, internal exhale, oh, that's right. This is the truth. And that phrase is, stop looking with your physical eyes only and start feeling your way towards what you want. Stop looking with physical eyes only and start feeling your way. Now, let's break it down, because this is one of those things that it lights my whole insides. So when we're talking about physical manifestation, the physical manifestation of reality that you're experiencing right now is a product of your past energetic beliefs, mindset, and identity. I'm going to say it again. The physical reality you're experiencing right now is a product of your past identity, beliefs, thoughts, and feelings. Because there is a time lag in our manifestation process in this earth game that we're playing here, what you're experiencing right now is actually a product of something that you created in the past, a while ago. So just think about this, slow down for a second, just think about this. What you're experiencing right now actually has nothing to do with who you are right now. What you're experiencing right now has to do with who you have been, which means when we want to create transformation, when we want to create change, when we want to manifest something different, who you're being right now is going to determine where that trajectory goes in the future. But what do most of us do? Most of us go that this is happening right now, and that means that I'm being this right now. Or this is happening right now, and that means I can't have that in the future. We take what's happening in the present as the only thing that is the truth of what's going on, instead of taking it as data. Now, this is the power. This is where we can change everything. You take what's happening now as data for who you have been. And you use it, you leverage it. You say, okay, is that what I would like to continue going forward? Maybe yes, maybe no, who knows? But if it's not, you start taking it and you make little 1 millimeter shifts in your present being. Now, when I say being, I mean your identity, and I want to define this for you. Your identity is who you believe you are and what you believe is possible for you. Who you believe you are and what you believe is possible for you. Your identity is the foundation of everything that you create in your reality. Everything in your manifested reality is validating who you believe you are and what you believe is possible for you. This is why, if you guys have been with me for a while, you know this. This is why the foundation of all of my work, all of the spiritual growth, all of the inner work, all of the personal development is founded in speaking to your identity. Because your identity is what's actually manifesting. There's so much to get into with that. We don't have the time today. All of it is in the Spiritual Coach training program. We talk about it all, but I'm going to give you some Cliff's Notes here. Your identity located in the solar plexus. In that energy, you have all of your belief system that is attached to this identity. So I want you to think about your belief systems less about like, it's what I believe, and more about it is what that version of me is believing. You feel it already? It's what that version of you believed. Now think about this. I can break this down for you really, really practically. What did you believe to be true about life when you were 15? Is it the same now? Not even kind of, right? You're like, oh my God, I was such an idiot at 15. You know? You're like, I knew nothing, but I thought I knew everything. So what you believe, are you still the same human? Meaning like you didn't transcend this body and go into a different body, did you? No, but your identity shifted. Who you believed you were and what you believed was possible shifted. And so that your identity is an energy that you're holding about yourself. And it is what's manifesting the reality you're experiencing. So when we start to really get into these juicy questions around like, who do I believe I am? I mean, that's a massive question. Who do I believe I am? What do I believe is possible for me? Because get now, everyone, all of you right now, most of us believe pretty much anything is possible, right? We just create all the limits with, but not for me. I don't know what it is. I mean, I think I do know what it is. It's like this ego trick where the ego goes, yes, it's possible, but not for you. You're different. You have problems that no one else has. You are innately limited. Do we not do this? I mean, okay, so I'm going to blow it up for you right now. You are not so special that universal law doesn't apply to you. Okay? You are not so special that things are possible for everyone else in the world, but not you. And this is how we can know it's an ego trick, because it's creating separation and it's creating there's a perfect word for this and I really want to get it right. It's creating a level of significance, meaning like, it's not possible for me. So it's almost like putting yourself on a pedestal of unworthiness. I'm putting myself on a pedestal of unworthiness. Everyone else is worthy, but my God, me, I am terribly unworthy. This is how we can know it's an ego trick, because it's creating separation and it's creating significance for you. Even though it's bad significance, it's significance we don't really want, we're still doing that. So we've got to kind of check that, right? Because we believe things are possible, but for whatever reason, we've made up this story that it's not actually possible for me. So to get back to the grounded subject here, when you are looking at your current manifested reality, what I want you to get before anything is that you created it. That's number one. We have to take ownership. Because if at any point, oh my gosh, I'm having a memory right now, I'm going to share it with you. If at any point you're blaming circumstance, people, your upbringing, your parents, we go through it, okay? It's a phase in the spiritual awakening that we go through where like you're going to want to blame everything. But if you're blaming anything, you are throwing away your power to change it. You're throwing away your power to change it. And when I'm working with clients who have really been through it, like really had a traumatic past upbringing or situations that have just been really, really tough, the thing that I always bring to their attention is what happened to you might not be your fault. But what you choose to do with it from this point forward is your responsibility. So it's like, we don't have to sit there and take accountability for something awful that happened in our childhood, or for the people that brought you up weren't so nice, or whatever happened. We don't have to say that's my fault, that happened because of my fault. We don't have to do that. You can look back and you can say that may not have been my fault, but choosing what I do with it from here is my responsibility. And I can either fall victim to it and I can continue to blame and I can continue to be upset and I can continue saying poor me, or I can choose to transmute that into a deep inner strength. You feel me on this? Now that's a really big, deep subject, but what I'm getting at is that you are the one who is in control. You are the one who has the power. And that is that is something that has to be built within you. It's not a light switch. Like the decision is a light switch. When you say, no more, I'm not blaming anymore. I'm going to take ownership. I'm going to take responsibility. That decision is a light switch. But the journey thereafter is going to be a journey of building internal strength, internal resilience, so much love and grace for yourself as you heal and transmute anything from the past that needs to be healed and transmuted, and you start to fully step into that most authentic self. Do you feel me on this? So the memory I had was I woke up. So a lot of times I wake up in the middle of the night with messages, just downloads. It either came through in a dream or I wake up and I'm like realizing something suddenly. And so it's not an odd thing for me to grab my journal at 3:00 in the morning and go into the bathroom and write out what's happening. And how many times my husband has been like, oh yeah, I see. She's got her journal. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he goes back to sleep because obviously he's used to me now. But there was one night, and I always resist it, by the way, because I want to sleep. So when these things come, I'm like, oh, and I don't want to get up. And this one night in particular, a message was coming through. It was a nudge. Like it was just I should say this. It wasn't a message. It was just a nudge. Like you need to get your journal and get up. And I was resisting it and I was like, I don't want to. I'm tired. I want to sleep. Like I got a whole life to live, I don't want to. But it was persistent and it would not go away. So finally I got up, got my journal, went into the bathroom, and I literally wrote at the top of my journal, and this is for all of you who want to start receiving messages, connecting more to your higher self and your spirit guides, you can literally start with just a journal and a pencil and saying, okay, what? What do I need to know? What do you want to tell me? And I was annoyed this one night, so I was like, okay, I'm here. What is it? And the message I got, and it's so funny because when I write them down at the time, they never seem that profound, like in the middle of the night. It's always the next morning when I reread it and I'm like, oh my God. So this one night I said, okay, I'm here. What? It said, Marli, you blame circumstance more than you realize. They're like, thanks for the call out energy, spirit guides. And then it went on to say, you have to realize you are the cause of all things in your life. You are the cause. You are the creator. You have to own that. And it was this, I wrote it down, was like, whatever, and went back to sleep. But then the next morning I read it and I was like, oh my God. And then I found it like years later, found it and read it. And I was like, wow, very profound message. So I give that to you because we unconsciously a lot blame circumstance, blame things that are happening, fall victim in our own minds when we're not truly a victim. And what I mean by that is you are the power that creates all that's happening for you, your internal way. I read this thing the other day that said when you realize that the only prison you've trapped yourself in is held by thoughts, that's when you can really see that you have the power to change it all. Now, there's healing work to be done with all of this. Amen. But when we realize that the past is what created the present, then that highlights that the present is where we start to create something different. Now, I want to just put an exclamation point on this. Do not waste your present trying to fix your past. You feel me on that? Do not waste your present trying to fix your past. I know it's easier said than done. Truly I do. And how much time I have spent looking at the past. But we have to get cognizant of it. We've got to be in containers like this. We've got to be listening to the higher way. We've got to be listening to the spiritual development, the personal growth, because the only way that we're going to create a shift in our future consciousness and our future manifested reality is if we start getting really cognitively aware that the present moment is where we create change. We don't fix what has been, that is a waste of time. If you look back and you try to fix what has been, what you're doing is giving energy to something you don't even want. And that's what creates that looping experience. You guys with me? Those of you who are watching, if this is clicking for you, drop click in the comments. Let me know. When you look back, you're putting all of your focus on what happened. What happened? Not what's happening, not what's going to happen. You're putting all of your energy back. And so when you do that, so do we want a looping experience? I don't think so. I don't want a looping experience. I've lived that. No, thank you. It is the worst. So there's a discipline that happens here though, isn't there? Because it's pretty natural, especially when the ego mind is strong. It's pretty natural to want to look back and see what went wrong and try to fix it. It's pretty natural. I can't tell you how many times I've done it. How many times I've like, oh, if I would have just done that and that, then it would be so different now. You know what I mean? But the thing that you have to realize, and this is a tough one, but you gotta just know it. First and foremost, you always look back on the past with the mind you have now. Meaning you don't have access to who you were or what you were thinking then. You think you do, but you don't. You can only access the mind you have now when you look back on the past. So your memories are distorted. What you think you thought is completely incorrect. You can only look back on the past with the mind you have now. So what that means is that at that time, you did your best. I know. Like we're hard on ourselves, right? But you did your best. You were doing what you thought was the best thing to do at the time. And it created a circumstance, a situation that maybe you're not appreciating very much right now. You feel me on this? And that's okay. Now, what we've got to say though is like, okay, I did my best. And do you feel the shift in that? Because the alternative is I did something wrong, I messed up, and I've got to fix it. And again, it's just going to loop you. You've got to know that you don't have access to who you were. You don't have access to who you were. You don't have access to what you were thinking. You were doing your best. You were doing what you thought was the right thing to do at the time that you did it. And you got to leave it at that. Then you got to look at what's happening right here, right now. You got to be like, okay, this is the manifested reality. Here's what's good. Here's what needs to change. Simplify it. Here's what's good. Here's what needs to change. And then you allow the data of what's happening right now to show you where you want to make those shifts. And you make the shifts here now. You don't look back. You make them here and now. You say, okay, what would I prefer? All of my Abraham Hicks people, everyone here, you watch Abraham Hicks. What's like the main message that she says? Contrast helps you get clearer about what you want. So when you look at your current state of reality, and if it doesn't feel good, look good, sets you up for the direction that you want to be going, you use that to get clear on what you do want. And once you get clear on what you do want, now is when you start that stop looking with your physical eyes only and start feeling your way to what it is that you want. What that means is that everything has a vibrational signature. Everything has a vibrational signature. Vibrational signature essentially means it feels a certain way. It feels a certain way. Like we got to take all these esoteric spiritual terms and bring it down to earth. When you think about what you want, doesn't that feel a certain way? Now there's a clarification here because there's a difference between a joyful desire of what you want and then a wounded want of what you want. We don't have time to go into it today. Again, that is in the spiritual coach training program as well. But essentially, Cliff's Notes version, joyful desire opens your heart. Wounded want makes you feel inadequate until you have it. And like, spoiler, you never get it because it's a wound, not a desire. So when you're feeling into the joyful desire of what you would actually really love, like it's such a different feeling, isn't it? It has a certain vibration. Now, everything that leads to that joyful desire is going to feel like that. It's not going to be always the most logical move. It's going to have a feeling. So when you feel into this beautiful vision of the shift that you want your life to take, you can feel it. Every action that leads towards that is going to feel like that same vibration. This is why we can't shame ourselves into happiness. We can't hustle ourselves into the ground of unworthiness and then end up feeling happy and worthy. The math doesn't math. It doesn't make sense. We do it all day long, but it doesn't make sense. Does this click? So we have to start feeling our way. You got to start getting in tune with that feminine energy, that intuition. Now, the way you start getting in tune with the feminine energy, the intuition, you got to heal the stuff that's in the way. We've got to take off the armor. We've got to stop hustling for our worth. We've got to stop letting our circumstance dictate who we are. All of these things, this is the journey. But as you start feeling into it and you start moving towards it in that energy, you start to build that trust muscle. And as you build that trust muscle, this is where your true unwavering confidence comes from. Most people think you have to willpower confidence, and I'm just like, ugh. The whole fake it till you make it. Time and a place, but willpowering confidence does not work. Your confidence comes from tuning to yourself, following your own intuition guidance, following through on it, seeing how it leads you exactly where you need to go, and then you start to build that trust with yourself. Confidence is trust with yourself. And so as you start to do that more and more and more, you're building that internal identity. I mean, is it not just the most fun thing ever? You're building that internal identity. And as you're building that internal identity, who you believe you are is shifting, and what you believe is possible for you is shifting. Does this click? This is the foundation of everything in 20 minutes. This is the pathway. Now, if you want to learn how to do it, come into my world. I have all of the tools and resources that is going to carry you to create an entirely new reality. This is about building yourself to be the woman who owns her power, regardless of the circumstance around you. I cannot emphasize how important that is, because when you are allowing circumstance to dictate to you what's possible for you, you are at the whim of every other energy out there in the world. You feel me on that? You're not the one deciding your life. Everything else is deciding your life. And so there's a very important journey that you have to go on, which is building your inner strength from the inside out. Does this make sense? It's such a cool understanding, especially when it really starts clicking in, because it changes your entire perception of reality. It puts you in the driver's seat. It shows you how you are the cause. I don't know about you, but I love that. I am the cause. I'm the cause. Because if I'm the cause, then I'm in control. And if I'm in control, then I got it. I got it. But you got to build that trust with yourself. Okay? I love you guys so much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. If this resonated with you, please share the show. I love you guys so much, and I will see you. Goodbye, my loves. Hello, gorgeouses. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy that you are here taking in this content so that we can create the change we're here to create. If you are interested in taking this work deeper, you can check out the links below in the show notes. The next healing immersion container, the Miracle Matrix Experience, is officially open for enrollment. So if you are interested in that, you can check out all of those details and don't miss the free masterclass that is also available below entitled Heal Your Nervous System to Quantum Leap. I'm so happy you're here and I will see you in the next video.